And so one of the rules that we have here is that you can do something that's called stacked gifting. And what that means is that you can transfer assets out of your name into the irrevocable trust. And as long as you make the amount of your transfer on a daily basis and keep it under what's called the average private pay rate in California. And let me explain what that is. The average private pay rate is what is the average pay rate for a 1 month stay in a nursing home, the state average. And so currently that's somewhere, I forget exactly, but it's over $11,000. So if we were to transfer on a daily basis $10,000 in assets into that living trust, and you did that every business day of the month, so let's say 20 days out of the month, you could transfer $200,000 into that irrevocable Medicaid trust. And you can do that month after month until all of your assets are out of your name. And the transfers that would occur within that month would only disqualify you from receiving Medicaid for a 1 month period. Now, on the other hand, if you were to take that $200,000 and just, instead of transferring it under that private pay rate, and tell me if this is starting to sound confusing because I'm used to saying it and I know people aren't used to hearing it. But if you were to transfer it in a way other than that, under that pay rate, and you just took $200,000 and attempted to transfer that into an irrevocable trust or give it to your best friend, well, that would disqualify you from receiving Medi-Cal, which is Medi-Cal and Medicaid are the same thing, by the way. It's just called Medi-Cal in California. So
hold on 1 second. Let me just clarify a couple definitions here.
Course,
so
yeah.
in America, in the United States, we have two different programs. We have Medicare and Medicaid at the federal level. Medicare is non-means tested, means everybody pays into it like Social Security, and everybody is qualified to receive it as care. When you're 65, it's almost the only medical care available through insurance. My wife turned 65 before me. I turned 65 in January. You go from your private care to Medicare, which is, it's a very generous program, and then you can buy some supplemental insurance on top of that. That's Medicare, has nothing to do with how much you make. Medicaid at the federal level is means tested, meaning it's designed for people of low income. And the way they do that is they distribute the money to the states. States create their own program, and in California, we call it Medicaid. Medi-Cal. So the California version of Medicaid is called Medi-Cal. Different states have their own version of that. And so what he's describing is that when you're retired or older in life, you might have assets, no income, so you could qualify for Medicaid, but for your assets. And so we're describing ways to dispose of the assets or to move the assets in a way that you can benefit from them legally and still qualify for Medicaid, which is the means tested program. And it's interesting that it costs so much money to qualify for Medicaid that really only rich people can qualify for it in some regards. The whole thing is kind of crazy, but if you pay taxes in the system, then you're entitled, I think, to benefit from it. So that's why you need an attorney like the Hayes Law Firm to help you through this process. So that's what we're describing in detail. Now, you might not like the details. I think it's important to know what you can. And I think I'm not an attorney. I would never explain the details to a customer, but I might talk about the concepts. And the other thing I want to emphasize to those of you not in California, we interview attorneys from multiple states because we're looking to understand the principles of the business, not just the specifics. And that's how we learn and improve ourselves. So, okay, I'm sorry to jump in there. So we're describing then the transfer process and how one transfers, meeting those rules from your revocable trust into your irrevocable Medicaid trust. And it has to be that dollar amount, approximately $10,000 per working day, will allow you to transfer $200,000 from your revocable living trust into your irrevocable or non-revocable Medicaid trust. Does that sound about right?
It sounds exactly right. And I don't want people to think that I'm just talking about transfers from trust to trust. If you have that $200,000 in your pocket and decide that you want to get that cash out of your name so that you can qualify for Medi-Cal, you just transfer $10,000 into that Medi-Cal trust account on a daily basis until you qualify. So
Yeah. One of the things I remember a line from the movie Wall Street, the original Wall Street, was what's the name of the actor? Bud Fox says, I never knew how much money I made till I start planning legally. And I think that's the thing that we all should aspire to get to, right? Is you want to get to a point where you have to deal with these details. You want to get to where you have to sit with an attorney and manage your income properly and your assets properly. This is the responsibility, I think, of creating wealth, is for preparing for yourself. And then if you have the opportunity to prepare for your legacy and generations after you, right? That's what this is really about.